Hi guys, I am back today with another DIY. Today I'm going to tell you how I did that 3-layer crown molding in our home office. This DIY is just one of the projects that I did in this home office makeover. I also added a lot to the built-ins that you see there in green. So that's in another video if you want to check that out. I'll put a link to that above. But for now, let's talk about this 3-piece crown molding. It is absolutely as beautiful as I expected before I even installed it. I love this look. It's one of my new favorites. It's very similar to the crown molding I installed in my boys' bedroom. That was a 2-layer crown molding. So I wanted to amp it up. I went with 3 layers on this home office. Here's how I did it. The first layer that you install with this crown molding is the layer that goes on the ceiling. So install all of the baseboard onto the ceiling before you move on to the next layer. Let me give you a closer look at the baseboard I used. So typically at Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever you buy your building supplies, they're going to have 2 sizes of baseboard. I'm using the bigger 5¼ inch baseboard. And because of the way we layer it, it is going to come down your wall about 6¼ inches once you leave a little gap between the top baseboard and the wall baseboard. And as you can see in the video here, I'm only using my brad nailer to install this baseboard on the ceiling. I'm only going to use the brad nailer for this whole project, so you don't need any adhesive or glues for this project. Just make sure that when you're brad nailing all of this in to the ceiling or the walls, that you shoot those nails at sort of an angle. It helps that molding hold on to the drywall better without adhesive. If it's in at an angle, it's fighting gravity for you. And going in at an angle with those brad nails also helps in the winter when you see a little bit of contraction in wood and your molding tries to separate from each other, so that angle also helps fight against that a bit too. And if I flip this model onto its side, you'll be able to see that I try to keep all of the nail holes below where the crown molding itself will be. That'll just be less patching for you later, so you won't have as many holes to patch on the front or the exposed side of that 3-layer crown molding. As with all of my wood trim projects that I do around here, I use spackle or wood filler to fill the nail holes. So spackle is actually the easiest to work with. If you can get your hands on that, use spackle, wood filler second. And then caulk goes anywhere 2 pieces of molding meet. So where the 3 pieces of molding meet each other, you need caulk. And you also need it where the molding meets the wall. I have another video that is a step-by-step guide for using both of those projects. So I'll put a link to that in the description too. For now, let's get back to that 3-piece crown molding install. So after installing all of the baseboard on the ceiling, I moved on to the wall baseboard. So in my case, I butted that baseboard right up against the wall, but that was a big mistake. One wall in that room was actually a little bit lower than the other walls because of either framing or drywall install differences. So I had to trim off the top of that baseboard. So for you, I want to suggest that you use a 1/2 inch spacer to install the molding or the baseboard on the walls. In this case, 1/2 inch plywood makes the perfect spacer, and you can just keep sliding it down the wall as you're attaching the baseboard to the wall. And in case you don't know, you're going to need a miter saw to cut all of this baseboard and crown molding. This isn't really a video about how to get the angles right for the crown molding. Search on YouTube for another video about how to cut the angles perfectly for crown molding. This is just about getting this 3-layer crown molding look. Okay, let's quit goofing off. It's time to get back to work. After installing the baseboard against every wall in this room, we moved on to the crown molding. So installing crown molding against that baseboard is just like installing crown molding in any other situation. You're going to get all of your measurements from that baseboard, and you're going to install it with the same angles. You're going to want your brad nails on the edges, the top and bottom edges of that crown molding so that you're making full contact with that baseboard. You don't need it anywhere in the middle. It's not going to hit anything behind it. Okay, I think that covers everything you need to know about installing this 3-piece crown molding look. Here's another look at that finished room. I love that layered, chunky crown molding look, but of course, I love trim everywhere. If you've seen any of my other videos, or if you want to see more of my trim videos, check them out. I'll put a link in the description below. And of course, feel free to ask questions in the comments on my videos. I always try to answer them, and if I don't see them, somebody else might. So go ahead, put your comments below. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.